Okay, hello, welcome back. And today we're going to look at simplifying algebraic expressions, especially in grade 10 maths. So I'm going to walk you through a few examples, all the types of expressions that you can get to simplify, and just things that you need to note, especially a naughty, negative, what you need to remember. And then there's also the quick ways of, instead of expanding and simplifying, by just doing a quick way with simplifying. That will stand you in good stead when you get all the way to grade 12, where you have to do things quicker and you don't want to take the long way. Just to quickly, I'm going to make a video on simplifying algebraic expressions. Very important. Simplifying means that you want to take away your brackets. There must be no brackets at the end. So you want to take away your brackets. And in the next video that I'm going to do, we're going to look at all the types of factorization that you get. So simplifying means that you want to take away the brackets. And factorization that we're going to do is where we want to make many terms one term. So we want to bring back the brackets. All right, so it's sort of the inverse of each other. Simplifying, take away the brackets. Factorization, we bring brackets back. Why do we do that? It's to make many terms one term so that we can further simplify. All right, but if you want to learn more about that, you can check out the next video. All right, let's jump in it. All right, if you have to multiply two binomials, two terms in each bracket, so the easiest way is to just take away that negative for y, just for now, so that we can multiply the 2x into the second bracket. You can close it up with your finger, or you can, later on you'll just see that you do it naturally, and it comes, you don't have to close it up like that. So we're going to multiply the positive 2x with the x and with the negative 3y. So it's going to be 2x to the power x times x gives you x squared. A positive times a negative gives you a negative. And 2 times 3 is 6. X times y is xy. All right, now I'm going to bring back that negative 4y. And then you're going to close up the 2x over there. And that means that the negative 4y now has to be distributed into the second bracket over there. All right, so let's do that. A negative times a positive is a negative. 4y times x is xy or yx, but we just normally write it in in alphabetical order. And then negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 3 is 12, and y times y is y squared. All right, then this middle term, you can just always simplify further. So it's going to be 2x squared minus 6xy minus another 4. If you struggle with these things and your head just can't comprehend what negative 6 minus another 4 is, you might as well just put it in your calculator. Minus 6 minus another 4 gives you negative 10xy plus 12y squared. Students make silly mistakes like that because they quickly do it in their head. And just make sure negative 6 minus another 4 gives you negative 10. All right, so just to bring back that 2x over here, originally what was there, and there's the sum simplified. Okay, now we're going to look at number B, where we have two terms multiplied by 3 terms. So again, if you want to, if it helps you, you take out the negative minus y, and you're going to multiply that x with the x squared, then with the negative 3xy, and then with the positive 2y squared. Okay, so let's do that. X times x squared is x to the power of 3. A positive times a negative is a negative. 3, remember there's a 1 over there. 1 times 3 is 3. There's 2 x's and the y. Then a positive x times a positive 2xy squared. All right. Then we're going to bring back, that was that negative y, and then we're going to close up, the x over there. And now it's the negative y that needs to be distributed into the 3 terms over there. Okay, let's do that. So negative times a positive is a negative x squared y. You could have said yx squared. Again, we just normally keep it in alphabetical order just to help us with our like terms. Then a negative times a negative is a positive 3xy squared. And a negative times a positive is a negative 2y to the power of y times y2 is y3. Keep your same base and you add your exponents. If there's nothing there, there's a 1. All right, so let's just bring back our original x over there. Then, just want to see that I've done it correctly. X to the power 3 minus 3x squared y plus 2xy squared minus x squared y plus 3xy squared, and a positive times a negative times a positive negative 2y to the power 3. Good. Now, I love working with highlighters. Use your highlighters, people, to highlight all the like terms. So if we get the x squared y, so there's a negative x squared y, there's another negative x squared y, and then the other two over there is a positive 2xy squared and a positive 3xy squared. Okay, so there's all our like terms. Just please remember the sign in front of that number goes with them. So it starts off with a negative 3x squared y. Okay, so I'm sure you know that, but sometimes in my class kids still get confused. So the sign in front goes together with that term. Then we've got x to the power 3 minus 3x squared y minus another x squared y gives you minus 4x squared y. And then a positive 2xy squared plus another 3 gives you 2 plus 3 is 5 of those, minus 2y to the power 3. And there's your answer. Okay, easy peasy. With this one, number C, I'm not going to delete the second term. I'm sure you've got it by now, but please take note of this naughty negative. If there is a negative in front of that bracket over there, the two brackets, the binomial and trinomial, you need to simplify it and keep it within brackets, because that naughty negative has to distribute to each and every term of your answer simplified there. Okay, but if you don't understand what I'm saying, let's do that. So first of all, I'm going to multiply these two brackets together. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 8n minus 3 times 4 is 12n squared, and a negative times a positive is a negative 3n to the power of 3. Okay, so let's just check. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 8n, negative 4 is negative 12n squared minus 3n to the power 3. Good. Now, when you take your negative, lots of you drop your brackets, but very important, you need to keep these brackets. So I'm going to highlight them. You need to keep these brackets because of this naughty negative over there. I always say it's a naughty negative. Okay, then I'm going to multiply the n in, which gives you n to the power 3 plus 3n squared plus 9n. Then the negative 3 goes in, which is negative 3n squared minus 9n. Oh, I'm going to run out of space. Positive times a, just checking where I am now. A negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 3 is 9n. And a negative times a positive is a negative. 9 times 3 is 27. Sorry, I'm so scared I'm going to run out of space there. Okay, so please remember your brackets. All right, so that this answer, each and every term there, has to be multiplied with the negatives, not just the front one that gets the negative, it's each and every term. Okay, so I'm just going to try and simplify, although, yeah, I can't simplify anything. I'm just going to rewrite this. And sometimes rewriting an expression or some of your terms, you also make mistakes. You make the 3 a 2. So just please make sure you carry over your answer from your previous step correctly. Okay, so I'm going to keep the negative. I'm going to keep the bracket because I just want to simplify here first before I'm going to distribute the negative. Because I've also found it that if you simplify first, it's less of a chance to make a mistake with the negative being distributed in. So I've got an n to the power 3, which I don't have anywhere else. I've got a positive 3n squared minus 3n squared. So these will cancel out and it will become 0. Plus 3n squared minus 3n squared falls away. Plus 9n minus 9n falls away. And you've got a negative 27. Okay. And that was, that's a sum and difference of two cubes, which we're going to factorize later on. If you want to know about those, especially the grade 10 factorization, I will load it up soon hereafter. Okay, so then we've got 32 plus 8n minus 12n squared minus 3n to the power 3 minus n to the power 3. And then that negative and a negative makes a positive 27. So if you didn't keep your brackets, you would have said that it was minus 27. Okay, then we're just going to further simplify. 32, I want to scratch it out as I'm busy doing it, which will give you 59. Am I right? 32, 20, 34, 5, and a 9. Yes. Okay, and then anything else? I've got the plus 8n, which I don't have anywhere else. I've got a negative 12n squared, which I don't have anywhere else. And then a negative 3n to the power 3 minus another gives you negative 4n to the power 3. And then mathematically, we will mark that perfectly right if it was left like that. But we just normally write it in descending order of the powers of the exponents. So it will be negative 4n to the power 3 minus 12n squared plus 8n plus 59. Okay, so going with the exponents from highest to lowest. Okay, but again, if you left it like that in this step, we can't mark it wrong. Okay, as long as the sign goes with them and the sign in front is correct with that term. All right, then we're going to move on to D, x plus 2 squared. Okay, so there's a long way and a short way. Now, I really advise you, if you want to carry on with maths, to just start getting to know the short way. Okay. I just want to show you the difference as well. X plus 2 squared is totally different than 2xy to the power 2. With this means this is one term inside the bracket. Can you see? Over here, there's two terms. So this, if there's just one term, it's that exponent rule where you say everything inside the bracket is to the power 2. So it will be 4x squared, y squared. Whereas with this one, you cannot say that it's x squared plus 2 squared, which is 4. Because there's middle terms that you are leaving out, that is not coming with. So please, you cannot say that you just square the you square the first term and you square the second term. All right, it's different to these ones that we get. This is one term, and here there's two terms. So I'm just going to backtrack here just to clean it up again and just to erase that very bad mistakes that some people make. Okay, so over here, the best thing is, or what you've learned in grade 9, is to expand it. And then that word that everybody knows is to FOIL it. All right, so x times x is x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 2 times 2 is 4. Then we've learned that that middle term can always be further simplified. So it's x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now I want to show you, the quick way of doing this. Okay, so if you've got x plus 2 squared, the quick way is you take the first term and you square it. You take the last term and you square it. So the sign with it, a positive 2 squared will give you a positive 4. And then to get this middle term, You multiply the two terms together. X times 2 is 2x. So it's still with the signs. It's a positive x times a positive 2 gives you a positive 2x. And you always double it. So 2x times 2 is 4x. All right, so that is the short way. As you can see, it gives you exactly the same answer as over there. And I just want to show you with the negative. Okay, so let's say it was x minus 2 squared. How the signs work together with your rule. Take the first one, square it. Take the last term with the sign and square it. So if you square negative 2 squared, the negative raised to an even number will give you a positive 4. And then you multiply the two terms together, again with the sign. So it's a positive x times a negative 2 will give you a negative for certain. And 2 times x is 2x, double it up, gives you 4x. Okay, if you just practice this one in this quick way, I really promise you it's going to help you a lot. All right, we are going to get to more difficult ones where we do it quicker, and I'll show you again at the end of the video just how to do it much faster. Okay, then if we look at number E, it's another pattern that you can be aware of, that you can recognize and start using. And if you think of grade 9 factorization, if you had the typical difference of two perfect squares, x squared minus 16. You remember that we always broke it up into two brackets, always with a plus and a minus, and the two brackets look exactly the same except for these two signs that differ. So if you square root the x squared and you square root the 16, you will get x as the first position. That's square rooted goes into the first position, and for the second position, square root of 16 is 4. All right, so now I want you to see your answer. You will always get two brackets that is exactly the same with a plus and a minus. Okay, so now let's look up here. Is it two brackets that is exactly the same except for the one has got a plus and the other one's got a negative, a minus? Two brackets that are exactly the same, one with a minus, one with a plus. All right, so these ones are the original set or the beginning part of your difference of two perfect squares. So we know that this 2 multiplied together will have a negative in the middle because it's always the difference of two perfect squares, and it's the first term squared and it's the second term squared. All right, over here, once you recognize, oh, but this is a difference of two perfect squares, originally it will have a minus in the middle. It will be the first term squared. 8 to the power 2 raised to a further power 2 will give you 8 to the power 4. And then if you look at the second term squared, the whole term, 2 to the power 2 is 4b. 1 times 2 is 2. All right, so it's a quick way of doing it. If you don't do it like this and you'd rather just say the good old x times x is x squared minus 2x plus 2x minus 4, that's perfectly fine. But just take note that these terms will always fall away because they cancel out. Minus 2x plus 2x is 0. So that leaves you with x squared minus 4. So just something to note as you are always simplifying, to recognize this pattern. All right, then with the last set, before we get to our to do some of the examples together, so 3x plus 2 all raised to the power 3. So this means that there's going to be 3 of these brackets multiplied together with each other. Okay, and I always tell my class, you don't have to, it doesn't matter if you do the first two or the second and the last. I just always start with the second and the last because my brain has been set or practiced in that I multiply 2 terms with 3 terms over here. So I always take the second 2, so the first one stays, And then if you say 3x times 3x is 3 times 3 is 9x squared, plus 3 times 2 is 6x, plus another 6x, plus 2 times 2 is 4. Close your bracket. Simplify that. I always simplify before I carry on, just to not make any mistakes. Okay, now the 3x is going to multiply in. 3 times 9 is 27x to the power 3, plus 3 times 12 is 36x squared, plus 3 times 4 is 12x, plus 2 times 9 is 18x squared, plus 24x. 2 times 12 is 24x, plus 2 times 4 is 8. All right, now you whip out that highlighters and you highlight all your like terms. So plus 36x squared, plus 18x squared. You've got a plus 12x, plus 24x, and all the others don't have any like terms to simplify with. So it's 27x to the power 3 plus 36 plus 18. Ooh, a 3, 4, 5, and 8 plus 6 is 54x squared. 12x plus 24x is 36x plus 8. All right, and there's your answer. Okay, let's quickly look at these examples. I'm just going to do the quick way. So if you've got one bracket squared, I just want to see, yeah, this is the final page. So with these ones, 2x plus 8 squared, you cannot just say it's 2x squared and 8 squared. There's that middle term that will then always not be there, so it will be incorrect. So if you take the first term and you square it, the 2 and the x, you will be left with 4x squared. If you take the plus 8 and you square it, you'll be left with positive 64. Then to get the middle term, you multiply the two terms together with their signs. So it's a positive 2x times a positive 8 gives you a positive 16x, double it. So it's plus 32x. Okay, do you see how quickly that can be done? Okay, just to show you with the negative, not to be scared, a negative 3a to the power 2. I'm just going to do it here in the top here. So a negative 3a to the power 2, a negative to the power 2 is a positive. 3 to the power 2 is 9, and a squared is a squared. Okay, for the back, if I take positive 5b to the power 2, a positive 5 squared will give you 25, and a b to the power 2. To get the middle term, you multiply the two together. So it's a negative times a positive will definitely give you a negative. 3 times 5 is 15, double it, which gives you 30, and an A and a B. All right, quick way. So if you want to expand it and then simplify it, you can do it like that. Just to do it this way is much faster and will save you a lot of time. Okay, just to make sure, negative times 5 is negative 15, 30, AB. All right, then let's carry on with this one. X to the power 3 squared will give you x to the power raised to a further power. You multiply together. Then to get the back, negative 3y to the power 6 to the power 2. A negative to the power 2 will give you a positive. 3 to the power 2 is 9. Y to the power 6 raised to a further 2 gives you y to the power of 12. A negative times a positive gives you a negative. 3 doubled up will give you 6. X to the power 3, y to the power 6. Okay. Then the last one, a little bit of a more tricky one. If you want to, if you can see it better with expanding it first, you are more than welcome to do that. A to the power x plus 4 plus b to the power 4y. the students always get a fright, and then they're like, oh, ma'am, there's 2 terms on top of the exponents. You better get used to it. And you just stick to your basic rules. So if you multiply those 2, they've got the same base. That means you keep the same base and you add the exponents. So what is x plus 4 plus x plus 4? It's going to be 2x plus 8, simplified. Am I right? Okay, then that multiplied by this will give you a positive a to the power x plus 4, b to the power 4y, plus b to the power 4y times a. I'm just going to write it in alphabetical order. B to the power 4a. And then lastly, b, keep your same base and you add the exponents. Oopsie, why did I put a bracket? Sorry. So then the middle 2 terms should always be able to simplify further. So you're left with a to the power 2x plus 8 plus 2 of those big things, b to the power 8y. Okay, and that is your final answer. I hope you are really just concentrate on especially the naughty negatives that you get, and simplifying, recapping again. It's taking away the brackets. Factorization in the next videos is bringing back the brackets. Why on earth do we do that? Why do we work backwards and forwards? It's so that we can make 2 terms 1 term, so that we can further simplify. But if you want to, you can look at the next video on that. And I hope you have a wonderful day further. Thank you for watching. Bye.